Let's open this week's podcast talking about favors. First of all, I don't need to pay it back favor. The sincere, I just want to do something for you because I'm a good guy, a good soul, a good Samaritan. I don't want anything in return. There should be more people like you. God bless you. That's a wonderful favor. You don't expect anything in return. Then there's the Godfather favor, which if you've seen the movie, you know the scene I'm talking about. I'll do whatever you want. I'm paraphrasing the scene, by the way. I'll do whatever you need me to do for you. Someday, though, I may ask you a favor, and the only request is that you do not refuse me, which is why you may someday see a picture of me dressed up like a little girl on a small pony. No, not yet. The Hannibal Lecter favor. Quid pro quo, Clarice. Information for information. Tit for tat, as they say. And then there's the ever-popular sexual favors, which is... That's not a favor. Yeah, you always pay for a sexual favor. I don't care if it's monetarily, emotionally, psychologically, you pay for the sexual favor. As my grandfather once said to me a long, long time ago when I was a little boy, if it feels wrong, get your dick out of it. I'm translating from the Greek, so I might lose a little something in the process. Then there is the rationalization favor, the explanation. Yeah, I slept with your girlfriend. You know what, pal? I did you a favor, because you know what? If she's going to sleep with me, can you imagine how many other guys she's banging besides you? I did you a favor. Yeah, maybe. Then the party favor. Did you get the party favors? Did you get the party favors? No, I forgot the party favors. You forgot the party favors? How can we have a party without the party favors? Can you do me a favor and go get the party favors? No. Here's what I'm going to get you. Party favor. You're welcome. I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, a podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey, alcoholically flanked by my producer, Greg Hansberry, who you can see over here, and the man you cannot see over here, thumbs up from John Whitney, our YouTube producer. Our guest bottle is Jack Daniel's Rye, Tennessee Straight Rye Whiskey, the affordable Jack Daniel's Rye Whiskey, I might add, at $27 a bottle. For those of you on our YouTube channel who caught our first Behind the Bottle, little Whiskey Business Extra, there was a little snapshot of the Jack Daniel's shrine behind me, and I realized that we've not had the Jack Daniel's Rye. So I figured this would be a good time to break it out. 70% rye whiskey, and of course accompanied by that beautiful, wonderful charcoal mellowed process that Jack Daniel's is so famous for. As we go to my next favor of the night, the mutual admiration favor, the you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back favor, the professional courtesy favor, if you will. Last week after our podcast, I stayed up and did one in Los Angeles and San Francisco with a filmmaker Ben Brown and his partner Mike Lanasa, who have a podcast called The Martini Shot. We had a great time. That podcast will be dropping soon. I'll let Ben give you all the information about that as we welcome Ben Brown to the podcast. Because I said, now that I did your podcast, you have to do my podcast. And you said, hey, I'm going to be in Columbus. I said, great, we'll bump somebody and have you on and get it done. So welcome to welcome to Whiskey Business.
That was a good decision.
It was?
Yeah, definitely.
Because?
I mean, I don't like to brag about it, but
no, brag.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Are you a big deal?
Yeah.
Well, you come from Columbus filmmaking circles, and now you live in Los Angeles, California.
Right.
You've taken the big step, as they say.
Yeah. It's a very big. It's about a 3,000-mile step. It's a very long drive.
Did you go out for a job, or did you just go out just?
So.
See ya, Ma. I'm gonna be rich and famous.
I just wanted to get out of my mom's basement. That was the main. That was the main impetus.
Were you really living in your mom's basement?
No, I'm joking about that.
I've had guests on this show that live in their mom's basement. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I ask.
You're not kidding.
No,
people
it's
on
not
this show
me.
that live or their father's basement. I don't want to discriminate.
I could regale you later about though. I lived in a very nice place in Grandview until about a year before I moved, and then I started planning to move. And I lived in kind of a few different weird situations, just trying to save money and get my way out there. So
What, like a hostel? What? Weird situations? What's a weird living situation?
Well, the first one, so like I said, I lived by myself in a nice place in Grandview. And
Oh, that's so weird, man.
no, that was no, that wasn't one of them. No, I ended up living with this 50-something-year-old lesbian woman, not far from here, actually.
Go on.
I'd like to say it goes better from there,
Go on.
but no, it didn't end very well. We didn't hit it off. So.
Really?
It wasn't me, I promise. It was not because of me, I swear. She was very touched in the head. It didn't
Okay.
work out well.
Because
but
sometimes I think that'd be like the ideal roommate.
I thought it might be.
You know?
I thought it might be like a sitcom, like we have a little lead up and we bump into each other by the door and
The laugh track.
yeah, there's like you left the dishes out. No, it didn't end very well. But from there, I actually stayed with.
Was it the age difference, Ben?
No, she was a lunatic. That was the difference.
Okay.
From there, I stayed with a friend of mine for about a month, and then I lived out in Galloway with a guy who's actually a tennis partner. You guys probably don't know this, but I'm actually a huge tennis fan.
Tennis fan, tennis partner, good tennis player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've played like 2 or 3 times a week for like the last 10 years probably. So
Are you good?
if you watched me, you would think I was incredible, but I'm just okay. like
You're right. If I were, I would say you're, because I don't play tennis and.
Well, yeah, there's a certain threshold that once you get above it, like to people that have just picked up a racket and hit the ball, like you look like a master, right? But
He can serve without falling on his ass.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
mostly.
You and I would do, Dino.
Yeah, I didn't return it because you hit it way over there. You didn't hit it to me, so fuck that.
So that's not, yeah.
I'm done with tennis.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I lived with a dude who was. I mean, we were friends, but he was more or less my number one hitting partner. Stayed with him for very little money, and then
Saved your pennies, saved your money.
Yeah, and figured it out, and it's gone really well. I actually, so many things have gone well since then.
Since the move?
Yeah, it's worked out very well.
Give me some examples. What's worked out? Personally, professionally?
Really, everything. I mean, every aspect of life you could point to. Every measurable metric of living, I think, has gone extremely well.
So you're a happy person right now?
But who's counting?
Yeah.
Like everything's swimming.
Everything. No, seriously.
Just waiting for the ball to drop.
Yeah.
You're a happy person right now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, how heavy do we want to get?
No. When you think of yourself as an individual, if you had to describe yourself to somebody, would you say I'm generally a happy person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I would have said that
Because in the short times that I've worked with you, you seem very intense.
Really?
At times very brooding.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you say that too?
Kind of serious.
I would have had a microphone.
Well, keep in mind that the times that we've worked together were like in the thick of it.
Right.
You know, where you really have to be focused and kind of maintain a level of intensity. So that they may not be good barometers.
Right.
But
I mean, I don't want to say that while you were, because you did a lot of your work here when we were working on a project. I don't want to say that at any point, like, is he gonna kill me? Is he gonna snap and murder me in my sleep?
Is that where this is going? Well, keep in mind that that was on very little sleep, and like that was a 48-hour film project, and those are
Right.
That's the most excruciating, intense situation that a creative or filmmaker can put themselves in. So, no, I think even before I left, I would have. I mean, I was feeling. You could say. I mean, I was probably going through a little phase of like, you know, this just isn't really where I want to be. I'm not miserable, but you know, I want something to move forward here.
Right.
And there were several aspects of life that just, because I made that decision, all just really came together really well.
So does everything have to be in sync for you to be happy? Do things have to be working out professionally, romantically, relationship, financially? Do you have to click off on all of them in order to feel happy, or if one's working more than the other, you're good?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I never really.
When are you happiest then?
During sex, mostly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So for 30 to 60 seconds there, you're
for 30 to 60 seconds out of a given year.
You are full of joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone else isn't, but
I'm too enraptured in the moment to really think or care about
I'm
them.
so elated that this is happening. I don't know. Just hearing you ask it now, I don't think totally, because I could get philosophical. Happiness is a state of mind, and you really have to choose your attitude. And I will say that maybe where I'm a little bit different than your average person is I'm definitely I'm not much of a talker.
Could have fooled me.
No, I mean that I'm much more of a doer than a talker.
Right.
So I get what you're saying. I think you probably relate.
I do. I do.
You don't just. I can't be idle. I don't. I can sometimes, like if I want to watch a movie or something. But but yeah, I need. I think when you're someone who's always trying to move forward and take your life, like even if it's great, well, you still need to push yourself to do more. And I think if you have that attitude, you're kind of always happy in the journey, in a manner of speaking.
So what are you doing out in Los Angeles right now?
So I do motion graphic animation and visual effects. I actually have worked at some post houses out there, and like I worked on some shows for Netflix. And
would you say that's your main wheelhouse? Because I know you write and you direct as well, but would you consider that what you were just talking about?
That's my main source of income.
That's the bread and butter that pays the bills.
Yeah.
Right.
But I, like you say, I do. I'm actually a decent illustrator, and
I know that,
yeah,
but I did not know that you did caricatures.
Yeah. I'm full of surprises.
We spoke for 90 minutes when I did your podcast, and
well, we were talking about you.
I understand that, but sometimes I have a tendency to flip the conversation.
So what you got to understand is, on a given day, I get out of bed, I play tennis, I draw some caricatures, I jerk off, I play with my dog, I make a movie, then I jerk off some more, and then I draw some more caricatures. And I'm trying to think if there's any other.
That's the fucking life.
Yeah. I was waiting to see if he was gonna, squeeze in another jerk off. It's kind of like a 3 times a day type of thing. Yeah. Morning, afternoon, and the evening jerk off.
Well, that's why I wanted to go freelance. No one's watching over me. No, but I did caricatures at Cedar Point in 2004, and I actually.
Oh my God!
Made my way through the last year and a half, 2 years of college doing caricatures at a Texas Roadhouse and Magic Mountain here in town. That was like kind of how I paid the rent and the bills and stuff. So
just wild guesstimate. Just give me just say one summer at Cedar Point. How many caricatures over the course of a summer? On average, how many would you do? A day, or would you?
Well, it varied day to day for sure, but at Cedar Point, probably could get an 8-hour day. Well, actually, I think they were 10-hour days. So at the time, I probably took 5 to 10 minutes to do one. So on the busiest day, say, I guess that averages out to, let's say it was 10 minutes for each one.
Sure.
That averages out to 6 per hour, so 70, roughly
a day.
But that's probably a high estimate.
Wow.
That's probably a high estimate, because it's very rare that you're just sitting there and there's never
a line.
Yeah, there's like never a break. But the Cedar Point wasn't the most extreme caricatures. Actually, the highest number of caricatures I ever did in like single days was at the Pumpkin Festival in
Circleville.
In Circleville, yeah. I did that one year for 3 days straight, and I felt like my hand was gonna fall off.
Only in Circleville.
Yeah. After a while, does everybody start to look the same? No?
No, I'm good at it.
I'm just asking. I mean,
We got to get him to do you before the night's over.
Well, I think we're gonna start doing that on the martini shot. If you come on, you get a.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start using
We'll
that
do
incentive.
that on our Instagram page.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
So LA's working out.
Yeah.
Are you out there by yourself?
No, I'm there with my girlfriend. She's part of the reason I moved out there.
Okay.
We just moved in together a few months ago, and I mean that's part of why things are going well. I mean,
Is she in the same business?
No, she's a speech language pathologist.
Oh.
So she works with people commonly know that as a speech therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So you work with a lot of deaf people, deaf or hard of hearing, autistic, just people who have trouble. I'm struggling to find the right words.
Maybe you should have a session with her.
I know. With people with deficiencies in their speech,
Yeah.
basically, as compared to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's admirable
she's a very good person.
and very passionate about her work.
She likes what she does. Yeah.
I would think. I mean, she's helping people.
Yeah. No, she does. She definitely appreciates what she does.
You know, my mom did that.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Really?
my mom did that right out of college. Was a speech therapist.
Here?
No, in Kansas City area.
Cool.
I didn't know that.
That's it. And then I found $10.
Thanks, Greg.
Just add to the combo. Here.
You need a drum. The ba-dum-bum.
Hey, you know, my mom shops at Giant Eagle.
Steel perks, man.
Nice. Oh, good. Oh, man. So, what's the plan? You have a long-term plan out in Los Angeles, or is it, or do you go, or is it, or are you a short-term guy? Like, I'm going to do this, then I'm good.
We got Whitney over here.
This is rare. I don't see this very often.
I love when Johnny laughs,
It's kind of a full body thing.
and then he cries. Afterwards,
We're getting back to the jerking off.
So you jerk off 3 times a day, and then you sob.
Yeah, you didn't let me get to that part. I didn't get to the evening. It's a much less pleasant time of day.
Oh my gosh. I jerk off one more time in the night, and then I sob quietly on my dog. Oh. Hey. Oh yes, my original question:
Lord, yes.
the short-term guy or long-term guy as far as plans?
Well, I mean, I have big, lofty goals, but I'd say, I have short-term things I know I'm going to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know we're going to make me and Mike from the Martini Shot.
Right.
We're collaborators. We're going to start trying to develop some new shorts.
Does he do the same thing you do, or is he more into the?
He's in the field.
He's in the field.
He shoots. He edits as well, but he's a very good shooter. He's drone licensed.
He's what?
He like a drone.
Drone.
He's
drone.
He's licensed to operate a drone.
Drone licensed? Do you have to be? You have to be licensed.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a drone. Why would I know if I needed a license?
The fuck would I know that?
I have a driver's license. I have a carry conceal license, but because I have a gun, but I don't have a drone. So
Right.
no. Why would I know if I needed a drone license? What do you have to do to get a drone license?
I think you just have to take a test or something and pay some money, probably.
A written test, or do you actually
know.
have to
Well,
like a?
I didn't
like
take the test. Why would I know?
Or like a drone driving test.
I don't know.
You have to parallel park a drone.
Probably. they have parking lots in the sky.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know either. I don't know.
All right, but he's drone licensed, so hey, Greg's mom is drone licensed.
Because of me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, Lord.
So you guys are going to work on stuff together.
Yeah.
Was Mike part of your film? 'Cause,
He was.
You made a feature-length film called After,
Yep.
which I've seen
Yep.
and enjoyed very much.
Which makes me happy to hear, by the way.
Yeah. And I told you on your podcast that for the first 15 minutes, I'm like, I wasn't really sure what the hell was going on exactly.
Right.
But as you,
I think that's a nice way of saying you were bored at first.
no, not bored, not bored. Like, what's going on, and it made me stick with it to figure out what the hell's happening here, and then I did. So no, I mean that's. As you know, and John Whitney is to my right, director of our film, The Street We Live. Pulling off a feature film independently is no small feat.
No, it's not.
It's grueling.
It's an ungodly, brutal.
It's gut wrenching.
Yeah, it's unforgiving. Mike actually was assistant camera for most of it, and had a pretty big part behind the scenes. He's credited as a producer with good reason, and he also shot one scene of it. John's brother Gil, which also shot your movie.
Yeah, Gil Whitney.
Yeah, it was a very talented, great guy.
Thumbs up, Gil.
Love working
Big
with him.
shout out
Probably
to Gil Whitney.
get a beer with him this week.
Yeah, good. He's gifted.
Yeah, he's a really great shooter, really great guy. Mike, he got to know Mike pretty well, and he felt comfortable letting him shoot because he wasn't the way we had it scheduled. It didn't work out, and he was okay with Mike shooting this one scene. So. He had a big part in that, and actually I should mention that me and Mike did a film together in 2016. We did the 48-hour film project and won together. We did a movie called Listening, which is one of my favorite. Have you seen that? It's probably one of the favorite ones I've made, actually. That was maybe the third time where I felt like maybe I should actually win this, but it was the first time where I was legitimately like ready to burn the place down if I didn't win.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because I just thought.
So you see where I get the brooding anger thing from, because it seems like you've got that switch.
Yeah. No, I've got it. I've got trying to think of how to put it. I wouldn't say I'm horribly.
I don't mean that in a maniacal way. I mean that in a passionate way.
Oh yeah. No, I'm only a little maniacal.
Uncomfortable pause to let you finish.
Yeah, no, I get worked up about things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get worked up about some things.
Don't you think you need to? I mean, as far in a creative field, especially filmmaking, I mean, you would have to get worked up. Once again, I'm going to point to my right and say John Whitney. He remains so amazingly composed at time that to steal a line from Woody Allen, sometimes I think he internalizes it and grows a tumor. I swear to God. But then every once in a while, when I see the steam, release, I like thank God, because for the most part you stay pretty much chill throughout your process, which I find pretty amazing. Yeah. But I also know he has the passion, so I know it's being channeled in some other direction.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I mean, on set, I don't lose my shit on set really. I know there was one moment and on After where me and someone else had a brief little tizzy.
Over.
Well, basically the lead character, you may recall the lead character is played by two different people because there's an older and a younger version. The older version, Lou Sleeman, at the time was 67 years old, and much of the movie he's laying down in an alley. So we were trying to minimize the getting up and sitting down, and he's a beast. Like he was like, I don't fucking care, I'll do whatever. Like
I'll get up, I'll get down as many times as you want.
He actually he's a lead singer for this rock band called the Coco Sing River Company, I think. He's kind of a badass.
I'll go one step deeper with Lou and his singing. There was at the height of popularity of American Idol, ABC 6 did a local show called Give Me the Mic.
Yeah.
And I was one of the judges. And
you were one of the judges?
I was one of the judges.
I've seen that. I didn't know you were one of the judges.
And Lou was on that show, and Lou won that night.
He killed.
Yeah.
He's posted on his Facebook.
Yeah, he won that night.
He is like, when I think of myself at that age, I'm like, God, I hope if I make it that far, I am just like him. Because another thing you may not know that will blow your mind is, oh, wait, actually, I can't tell you because it's a plot point of after, so I can't.
You got a 5-foot penis.
Yeah, that is what that was.
The
what I was
5-foot penis.
Well, anyway, he had to
horizontal.
Yeah. He had to get up and down a little bit for the movie, and basically, I was trying to do another shot of this one,
right?
Another take, and somebody was kind of protesting that, probably rightfully. I mean, but it was hard for me in that moment because Lou was standing there like, yeah, let's do it, let's fucking do it, but like it's like there's a sensitivity of he wants to do it, but maybe he shouldn't. But you can't. I don't know. It was a difficult moment. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like it was kind of awkward because maybe he shouldn't do it, but I can't tell him that he shouldn't do it.
Why not? You're the director.
Well, maybe I should have thought of that. I don't know. But I wanted him to do it, but somebody else didn't think he should. And I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm not. I just don't want it to be like I'm. Because if he listens to this, I don't want him to think I'm.
I understand. I understand. But I mean, that is a role of the director. I mean, we've heard horror stories on big movies about directors who lost their minds and made the set a living hell, so forth and so on. But they are the director. I mean, it kind of goes with the territory, I would think, on some level.
Yeah, I mean, he did the shot and it was fine. So I think it was fine. I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal, and also he was practically already on the ground when he did it. But so anyway, to get back to why I was bringing that up, I'm mostly, and I've gotten, maybe John would relate to this, but like as I've done more of these kind of things and made movies and stuff, like anxiety is always the bigger thing for me. Like I'm always fighting with the anxiety of there's like however many people just looking at you, waiting for you to tell them to do something, and and you do the best you can, but you always know there's going to be somebody who doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing, but there's a reason they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, because they're not that important in that moment, but they're like poking you in the shoulder, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And you're like, leave me alone. But you don't want to say that because you don't want to be an asshole,
right?
And I will tell you, actually, this is something I'm discovering more and more in my old age is.
In your old age, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Oh, Jesus, 36. All right,
but I hear a lot that I'm intimidating. I get this from people a lot because I'm kind of tall. I'm kind of a big guy, and I've got kind of a big voice.
Right.
The beard.
But I haven't always had this beard. I get that. Everybody always says that it's the beard.
This bearded dude's got to stick together.
Yeah, we gotta hold the line.
I get it. You kind of put an essence of intimidation.
It's not intentional. It's not.
It's probably not.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. I'm not. I never want to like belittle anyone. Like I never want to like. I don't want to say I never want to argue with anyone, but yeah, I mean certainly on set, like I always hope that I'm doing what I can to keep it peaceful and good and fun. But the other side of that is like, look, we all came out here to make this movie. Like that's number one, and like that's what your focus is on. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard balance, and that's where my anxiety comes from, is like trying to keep everybody happy, but also trying to make the fucking movie.
Right. So the bread and butter work, the job that pays the bills. Do you like doing that more than you like directing a film? No.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
No, I love making movies. I think it's the greatest thing.
But the first thing is what you're. I don't want to say you're really good at it, but obviously you're a good director too. But that's what you started with. So what's the first love?
Oh, film is definitely higher on the list, but there's just not a straightforward line to getting people to give you money to make movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did one myself now, and I'm finding there's also the other end of it that's networking and knowing people, and
That's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, and I mean, there's this harsh reality that is becoming even more harsh for me to understand, that your creativity and your talent and your drive, like, this is maybe not even an exaggeration to say that is completely secondary, like, to just how well you schmooze with people, or how well you talk to people, or how charismatic you are. I might even say, like, how good looking you are. Like, there's so much that goes, I mean, and that is the reason that is one reason there's a lot of shitty movies. You know?
Because somebody had the charisma to push it forward and the schmooze to push it forward.
Well, you know, yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and making the movie is, I mean, and people always said this, it's not like I didn't know, but they say, like, you know, just making the movie is just, that's just the first step. And that step is such I mean, it's really hard to even, like, convey that to people. I mean, I grew up in a tiny little town in southern Ohio. A lot of my family's from Kentucky. You know, I am the least country boy of our family, but in many ways, like, I mean, I grew up in the country. You know, we did 4-H and, like, had chickens and rabbits and shit, and, like, but I'm saying that. What was I saying? I had a point.
No, you're talking about where you grew up, and I was going to ask you, what did your parents think you were going to end up doing?
Oh,
When they saw young Ben Brown growing up, that boy is going to be fill in the blank.
That's a hard question to answer, honestly.
I hope that boy grows up to be fill in the blank. Were you supposed to follow in your daddy's footsteps?
Well, our dad, I have 2 older brothers, and our dad owned a plastic injection mold company. In the shorthand is called a tool maker, but
that was his company.
Yeah, that he owned, and I definitely think that he.
Did you work at it? Did you work at it? You worked there?
Yeah.
All the brothers worked there?
Yeah. Not all the way through, but I did to, like, a drive, basically, and then my first job was at the Samsonite at the outlet mall.
All right. Is that company still in existence?
Samsonite?
No, your dad's. Your dad's company.
Oh, no. My dad actually passed away 9 years ago.
Okay, so when he passed away, there wasn't anybody that stepped up and kept running the company.
It wasn't. It wasn't in good shape. Yeah, so it didn't. He definitely envisioned that. I think he envisioned that one of us would sort of follow in his footsteps.
I think every father kind of thinks that a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, hoping that their son.
Yeah, but I mean, and for no bitter reason, just I think we all 3 had different, just different. I mean, I think you probably know about my second oldest brother. Maybe you don't. He's a cage fighter in the UFC.
I think through the grapevine, only here in the last couple days, did I become aware of that. Much like the fact that you did caricatures.
Yeah, and my oldest brother is a lawyer now. So we're all very
everybody
different.
all 3 different paths.
Yeah. And my oldest brother Josh joined the military. He joined the Army for, I think, 4 years active duty. So yeah, we had much different paths. And it didn't carry on.
So all the Browns are badasses, basically what you're telling me. Yeah, you got the brother lawyer in the military. You got the second brother who's a UFC fighter.
He's probably the most badass.
Yeah,
by certainly by a certain metric, he's a.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
just from the skill set
right
involved in that particular career path.
You know what's funny though? I do get people think that sometimes they think that I'm
him.
No, or that has happened. Don't tell him, but that has happened. But
or they think just by default that you're going to be a badass too, because
like I said, like people tend to think I'm like kind of intimidating. Mm-hmm. And I was like a shrimpy little kid. Like I got picked on, and like I was skinny. Like I was like 160 maybe until after college.
We were all 160 at some point. Well, Hansberry, you still are.
I'm trying to get there.
He's trying to make weight.
Sweat it off, bro.
So can you fight?
No.
Have you ever been in a fight?
when I was a kid.
Just you never been in a fight as an adult?
What do you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. It's from Fight Club.
Yeah.
No, I've never been in an adult fight.
Seriously.
I'm not.
I don't. You know.
Have you?
Oh gosh, lots of them. Yeah, John. Not an adult fight.
Yeah, not an adult fight.
All right.
You're the weird one, I guess.
Dino's like, what? No one's had 9 fights before?
Yeah.
You never been. You never. All right, you're enjoying your Jack Daniels tonight.
In grade school.
Do you drink whiskey on a regular basis?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay,
No.
so you've never been in a bar and something's broken out and you had to.
One time at Brothers, this cop was spraying mace in the guy next to me, and he like flailed his arm and kind of hit me in the face.
Yeah.
And I shoved him into a fence.
Yeah.
And his eyes were so fucked up that he tried to come after me, but I literally just walked away, and he didn't know what to do because he was all fucked up. So maybe that's
best fight ever.
I'm gonna give you a half a point. half a point on the fight scale.
No, I mean, honestly, like this is why the people being intimidated thing is so weird to me because I'm kind of a wiener in a lot of ways.
Well, okay, well, I mean, you said that now on camera and on audio. But,
now it's
you know,
gospel.
Hey, but let the intimidation factor work for you on some level. I mean, if you can go your whole life without anybody fucking with you, consider yourself blessed.
Well, I didn't go my whole life. I mean, I got bullied and picked on and shit when I was a kid.
When as a kid, all right, in your adult life, if you can go through that, because the fists hurt.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I did one summer a few years ago. I trained in Muay Thai a little bit for like 3 months, I think.
Now, was that what you inspired by your
well,
your brother?
He always told me he does Muay Thai, but he'd always told me that it's really good for the soul. It's really good for it is too. I mean, I encourage anybody to do martial arts. I mean, just from that one experience. I mean, it's definitely intense, but yeah, no, I've never really. I'm not really that confrontational. You know, I mean, I will argue about things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody like punched me or somebody started some shit with me, like I wouldn't back down, but but I wouldn't start a fight. Yeah.
No, I've never started one either.
But you finished them.
I have finished a few, and I've gotten my ass kicked.
How many fights have you
in
been?
a few? Well,
Would you say
over the course of my adult life?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're looking at me.
Yeah,
I think it was about 35.
Aren't you? Yeah,
last count.
You've been following him around.
I'm sorry, Greg. Aren't you writing my memoirs?
yeah.
What was it when we talked about the fight years?
The fight years, great decade.
The fight years. How
Great
many?
decade.
13, 5, and 3.
Probably a good, at least a good half a dozen.
Okay.
Over the.
When was the last one? Like how Cause you're not getting fights in your 50s.
No, not yet.
There's still time. There's still time. You were in your 30s, 40s.
I've probably had a couple in every decade.
All right.
20s, 30s, 40s.
And still
Yeah.
a couple. You got a couple
Yeah.
years left to knock a couple out. Let's
and
go
once
to the
again-
coaches and start rallying some people up.
And
Let's
have
do
broken up. Well, you know what? I take that back. It wasn't actually a fight, but I definitely had to manhandle
No,
someone
that doesn't
to
count.
stop a fight.
That doesn't count.
To stop a fight.
Mm.
Does that count? No. I was in my 50s, and it was like I saw it brewing,
Right.
and saw it escalating, and then when it actually, started to break, I already knew exactly what I was going to do if X, Y, or Z occurred. I knew exactly what move I was going to make and what I was going to do every step of the way. But I do that all the time.
Isn't that like the ninja thing? The best fight is no fight. Like
I don't know if they
The
do
best
that.
fight is the one where they didn't
Yeah.
know
I
you were
don't
there.
know. I don't
Yes.
know if they make all those moves while they're saying it.
They do
but
that,
the
yeah.
best fight is no fight. I can't
I
help.
think that's an
my
official
hands
ninja
won't
thing.
stop moving
That's a
as I
mantra.
talk about
The best fight is no fight.
The best fight is. Well, I'll tend to agree with that, and but probably most of them in my 20s because of my previous occupations. Is that fair?
I don't know. What were your previous? Were you a drug dealer?
Yes, I was a drug dealer. Yes, wow. Ding, ding, ding. Wow, you're good. It's amazing.
I have a way with people. What did you do?
Oh, I was an investigator for a while in my 20s.
No
And into my
shit.
30s, yeah.
So the whole, like, your whole, like, kind of mob sort of atmosphere, aura to you, like, that's not even made up. Like, you're actually, like...
What mob aura do you speak of? I was an...
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
No, explain yourself.
You got, well, you got kind of a wise guy thing, don't you?
I've had
like to
dealings
think
with
so.
wise guys, yes.
I've
dealt with the dark side of the world, if that's what you're saying, yes.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's not my aura. That's just me in that world.
All right. Well, I thought maybe that was kind of cool.
No. I mean, well, when you said your whole mob aura is not made up, I don't. Yes, I've led a colorful life.
I would. You know what? From the little bit that we know each other,
Yeah.
I know that. You know, like you can tell, like you're a genuine guy. You know.
Well, thank you. I think you're a genuine guy.
Which is unfortunate because most of me is genuinely unpleasant.
You just
That was
said, and I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this podcast. You said you're a happy guy. How can you be a happy guy? But generally, most of the time, I'm very unpleasant. I mean,
Well-
boom. Come on.
You're right. I'm joking. I'm being contradictory. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can be contradictory, but you're
No,
gonna
I'm
have
a
to
happy guy.
But you're gonna have to you're gonna have to explain it.
No, I'm a happy guy, but I think about things a lot. You know, I think
Good.
about. I mean, I really do. I think about deeper meaning and shit, and if you really get to know me, like I'll never shut up about what the fuck I'm thinking about. So maybe that's the joke I'm making by saying if you genuinely know me, I'm genuinely unpleasant, but I'm actually happy about it though.
Does your girlfriend think you're unpleasant at times?
Only in like a funny curmudgeon-y way.
Curmudgeon-y way.
Yeah.
You're just you're cute and curmudgeon-y.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, that's probably the way to put it.
Does she make you? Well, that's an open-ended question. What are you going to say? I was going to say, does she make you happy? Obviously, she makes you happy.
Yeah, no, she's the greatest.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Is she have a good calming effect on you? Does she level you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Are you better?
Oh,
Are you a better person and a more creative person if there's someone in your life?
I don't know if I would generically say if someone's in
When
my
you
life.
look back at your body of work thus far, was your best work done when you were all by yourself? Or was your best work done when there was somebody there to help you, support you, encourage you?
I guess I'd have to say by myself because
Let's be honest, the creative process sometimes is a very lonely one
yeah.
and a very solo one.
Yeah.
Be it writing, putting a film together. I mean, there's a lot of those things. Unless you actually collaborate with someone, if you and your girlfriend decided to write a script together, that would be one thing. But when you're writing it and you're creating it, when you're drawing, when you're, these are solitary moments.
Right. Well, what I was going to say is, I mean, with just a few exceptions, a lot of the relationships in my life have just they've just kind of come and gone and not a huge impact. And so I guess I have to just say by default, even in a sense, for many of those cases, even when I wasn't technically single, like I might as well have been.
Because a lot of people tell me that that we as a creative community, and John's married and Greg's married, and I'm in a long-term relationship, but they say that creative people are sometimes some of the most difficult people to be with.
That's what I'm talking about with the genuine
Yeah.
unpleasance.
Well, no, but
we're always critics. I feel like we're very critical, whether of ourselves or of other people. I feel like that's.
Well, we got into that on his podcast. I'm very critical of myself.
And
and
it comes off like you're being a dick, but you are always, as an artist, you're always critical.
Well, if I'm criticizing myself, I'm coming off as a dick.
No, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying the understood artist, you. No. But like, it's easy to come off like a dick accidentally because you say, "Oh well, fuck, I would have added mushrooms to this dish, honey." but you're not being a dick.
I would never say that.
Well, but you're not being a dick. You're just always striving for. I'm looking at you to bail me out.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you're on your own, Greg. You're on your own.
Why don't you get your mom to help you out on this one, Greg?
Hey, mom. Speech therapist, Bev.
I think what you're trying to say is you will tend to project your expectations onto other people.
Very well put.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
And
you don't mean anything disparaging against them. You're just
well, you might.
Well, you could. You could.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I never
do. You could,
do,
but not necessarily. As an artist, you are doing that. Yeah.
I try. I mean, here's one thing I do tend to believe about myself, and this is kind of an ironic statement, but I tend to believe I'm very self-aware. But then, how would you know if you were actually self-aware?
Oh, that's deep.
Right. I know. I just blew your mind. Right? No, the thing I will say, I feel like something that I believe about myself that I don't know if it's true, but I hope it is. But I don't want to be oblivious. You know, I wouldn't want to be naive to. If I was making someone uncomfortable or hurting them or, you know, saying things that are upsetting to them, like, and one of the reasons that I say that is because, you know, I can consciously have a dialogue with myself wherein I'm saying, you know, in the deepest roots of my motivations and what I want in the world and for myself, like, I don't really want anyone to be hurt.
Right.
You know, and when I say anyone, I mean anyone, you know, like, I would take that to a very far extreme, like even the worst person you could think of, like say like a Kim Jong-il, like, you know, you can talk about what that person deserves based on their actions, and I could, you know,
because the end goal you want is to be,
yeah, I never wanted that person to be the type of person that would do those things,
right,
you know what I mean, like, so I guess I'm just saying, when I really dig deep into what outcome I would want in the world, I wouldn't want to be oblivious to how I'm behaving, but at the same time, and this is the ironic contradiction of it, like, I'm well aware that, you know, there are moments where, like, I'm obnoxious or I say something faux pas or I've treated someone
and
accidentally.
You know it's coming out of your mouth and you choose not to stop it.
I wouldn't put it like that. I wouldn't put it like that. I certainly.
Like, I'm thinking, I'm going to say it. It's going to hurt, and out it comes.
I don't know about that. I don't know if anyone. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I think people rarely consciously. I think it's more rare than we would think that people consciously go out of their way to hurt people. I think most pain of this sort is incidentally inflicted, because everyone is driven by self, and it's not that they want to hurt you; they just want to not be hurt themselves. So a lot of self-preservation leads to other forms of pain. Now, there are actual malicious people,
yes,
you know, that want to hurt you, but generally speaking, that's psychopaths. Like they're missing something.
Sociopaths.
You know? But even if you look at, say, like, you look at somebody that, like, you wronged in the past and they're out to get you for something, like they want to get you back. If you trace that back to all the core of that, you know, go all the way back to the root, you're going to find that the motivation probably didn't start with, well, I just arbitrarily want to hurt somebody.
No.
You know,
but that person who wants to get back at you, maybe you did inflict some pain, did hurt them somehow, and they never got over it.
Right. And it eventually it doesn't even have anything to do with you. in a lot of ways. How did we get here?
No, that's the interesting thing about this podcast. I take you down a path and you don't even.
I don't even know.
Wait
where
a second,
I'm going
where am I at?
Where am I?
I thought we were talking about my movie.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about movies and alcohol. No, it's really easy to get me to talk about.
You're not the first person to go, what the fuck just happened here? So, I mean, given this conversation, and you've been very, I always appreciate a guest who's very open and honest.
Sure.
And you've been that right from the start. So, say someone like your girlfriend listens to this, watches this, is she gonna go back? Is she gonna look at it and go, is there anything you said tonight? She'll go, huh?
No.
I didn't know that.
No.
No,
I don't hide anything from her. Nothing.
You're an open book.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, to be completely honest,
Really, because not nobody's entirely an open book. Everybody's got an unwritten page or a hidden chapter.
Let me put
I do believe this. Now, I'm not saying that in a nefarious, evil kind of way.
Sure.
But I think everybody has got a piece of themselves that, for whatever reason, they keep locked up because either they're afraid of it, afraid of what the other person might think of it,
sure,
and afraid and not 100% secure how the other person might deal with it.
Yeah.
So I do believe and like I said, not in a nefarious, evil kind of way, like, oh my gosh, not some deep, dark secret. But I think we all have a piece of ourselves that we keep locked away.
Well, let me put it this way. We've had open dialogue about, say, like looking at other women or looking at other men, right? Like, now,
that's nothing.
Well, it's surface level. It's a surface level thing.
We'd be fucked if that was a thing.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, we've had, open conversation about that where we just understand that we're human. Now, do I tell her every moment-to-moment thought that pops into my head? In that sense, I'm not open with her.
No. Well, and neither is she. I guarantee you. She's not expressing every thought, feeling, and emotion that she has. Nobody does that. None of us as human beings do that.
And you don't want that. But let me put it this way. There's nothing that I've done in my life or said or has happened in my life that I'm that I'm too ashamed to put out there. I mean, there's nothing I wouldn't tell you right now. Like, I don't care. I don't care what other people have to say about anything that I did.
Well, let's start the
now the can of worms is open.
As we start to
When's the last time you jerked off?
I already know.
What were you thinking about when you jerked off?
I know way too much about your jerking off routine.
We're already there.
Already, yeah. I think we covered that probably
thoroughly.
And in fact, I can honestly say that in the history of this podcast, that's probably the most we've talked about jerking off.
That's
ever.
Surprising to me.
Yeah.
Ever.
As the producer, I can second that. Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. I think that you've not only set the bar for
future episodes
for jerk off conversations. You are the bar.
All right, your next episode. If I don't hear something about jerking
We're
off,
about like 6 or 7.
I'm wondering, do I add that to my list of questions for future guests? So, do you jerk off, and how many times a day? And what do you think about
our guest bottle and our guest?
When you ask them, will you please have a clipboard in your hand?
Yeah.
Now, how often? And make sure your glasses are on. How often would you say?
I'm gonna get a lab coat.
Yeah. The quantitative spectrum dictates.
All right. So in that realm, in that theme, as we start to wrap things up here, tell me something about Ben Brown that we don't know.
Oh wow.
That you're not ashamed to share.
Earlier today, no, I'm just kidding.
That doesn't involve jerking off.
That's all I got. Well, I told you about the caricatures. You know about that now.
No, I'm talking about something that
like deep.
Yeah, like you say, you're an open book. Give me a page we haven't give me a page that we haven't looked at.
I have a few friends that I know exactly what they're thinking right now.
See, and what are you doing right now? You're self-editing in your brain right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean,
I guarantee you there was a Rolodex of shit that you could. No, not that. No, not that. No, maybe. No, I don't know.
Let me think here. Man.
I got all the time in the world. We're in my house, so I'm not going anywhere.
We're gonna edit down the long pause. Oh well, you. I don't know if this qualifies as something like that, but okay. All right. I'll give you an instant. This'll work. Okay. So there was a. You probably didn't know. I don't know if John knows this either. But I actually used to be a very religious person. I don't know if you knew that.
Did not.
And I went through a very difficult phase where that changed. Now, without going into the hours it would take to explain all that, the thing that I'm thinking of that I think will be the funny anecdote answer to your question.
Fair enough.
In this phase, now it was a very stressful, difficult, painful time, and I was smoking a ton, at least a pack a day, probably 2 packs a day on average. Yeah, for about. That's
a ton.
Lightweight, right? For about 6 months, I was like that.
All right.
And I don't know if you've ever gone through a phase where, like, everything's kind of going crazy in your head, and you're Well, I'm sure you've gone through that, but you're smoking a lot, and you know the smoking isn't helping, or if it is helping, it's helping in like a Band-Aid sort of a way.
Right.
So I was going through a phase where I would smoke some. And then I'd throw the pack away impulsively and be like, oh, fuck this, I'm done. And then like 2 hours later, you've got another pack in your hand.
All right.
Have you been through this?
I've done that when I've tried to quit smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one time that I was at work and I was going outside to smoke like every hour at least. And I had thrown a pack in the trash can out back, the dump truck,
the
trash
dumpster
can. Yeah, the Rumpke.
Yeah.
And no, I would there had been many occasions where I would just bum one off somebody else if I went back to, which happened every day.
Tonight.
Yeah. And I walked outside and I was like, I can't take it, and I jumped in the trash can, like I dove in, like it was empty. The trash can was empty except for the cigarette. So I like dumpster dived in and grabbed them and got back out and smoked a cigarette.
Okay.
Well, that was it.
What's that got to do with religion?
Oh, that was just to give you the context.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, that's my shameful story that maybe nobody knows about. Is I once dove into
a dumpster to
get
an empty dumpster.
Yeah.
To get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then you found $10.
And with that,
fair enough. All right, our guest has been Ben Brown. Audio-wise, you can check out the Martini Shot with him and his partner Mike Lanasa, which is a new podcast and just starting out. I had the pleasure of being your third guest.
Yes,
third guest. And when's that going to start popping up, and where can people find it?
I think it'll be live on Thursday morning. You can find it if you go to the Facebook page at Martini Shot, and on SoundCloud, the Martini Shot.
Subscribe to that shit. It'll be out by the time this podcast drops.
Right.
So
And
check it out.
Real quick, what's going on with the movie After?
It did just win something from something called the Los Angeles Film Awards. So there was that. There's still some more festival potential to come. Right. And it got invited I was invited to submit, which to my understanding usually means that they're going to take it to something in London.
Okay.
So that's London, England, not London, Ohio.
No.
So that's pretty cool. And I've rubbed a few shoulders in L.A. that are looking at it, and so it's not, it's not doing nothing.
Right.
So
it's proving to be a good example of what you can do, and it's a calling card. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going well.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, man. Well, we're thrilled to have you back in Columbus for a little bit. When you go back to Los Angeles.
I go back on Sunday. Before I forget, also check out my website, benbrownmotions.com.
Absolutely, man. Anything else you want us to know about that's all about Ben Brown?
Let's turn the recording off.
I mean, no. As far as your work and talents are concerned, because I want people to.
Yeah, actually, the website's good because it's got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything on there.
Yeah, I put it all on there.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a successful whiskey business. I am a little disappointed that we'll probably finish this after the camera goes off and the audio goes off. We'll probably shoot the shit a little bit more and finish the rest.
Gone.
This is
that's
nothing.
Gone.
What's that going to do? What are you going to leave that? That's no.
Why bother?
Yeah, that'd be like breakfast tomorrow if we leave it all behind. So let me wrap things up like I always do and thank our guest, Ben Brown, filmmaker living in Los Angeles, California. So thrilled that you got back to Columbus for a little bit to spend some time with us. I appreciate it. Also want to thank my producer, Greg Hansberry, and Greg Hansberry's mom.
Thanks, Bev.
and the guy that was very quiet to the right of me, but has become so invaluable to this podcast with our YouTube channel, producer, director. And, have you got your own website with your shit on it that people should see? If you have to think about it. TheStreetWhereWeLive.com for our film, if you want to see what's going on with our film, because we're in that same struggling process where we don't know where to go next or who to schmooze and what to do. So, Facebook and Twitter. Never the Luck. Whiskey Business is a Never the Luck production, hosted by me, your host, Dino Tripodis. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And we have our YouTube channel, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. We also have a lot of fun extra stuff on there as well, including Behind the Bottle, which we just started doing. And next week, we will not have a regularly featured podcast, but we will be at a Wild Turkey release, a very special release bottle, where only 50 of them will be available in the state. We'll be doing a little Behind the Bottle action at that next week, so check out our YouTube channel to check all that out. Am I missing anything, Mr. Hansberry? I got it all? Okay, so on behalf of everybody in the room, my name is Dino Tripodis, and until the next bottle, see ya.